climate appetite. I live in a blanket of smoke. At times, my heart thorns into bells. When I say we've lost Earth, I'm referring to the future. Home is falling apart. The blue, beautiful world my mother left behind needs our help. When I say I'm self-flagellating, I mean my mouth, my teeth, my tongue. The scrubland is changing. How tricky this makes the world drought. And our lazy elders still gather all its argument for polite emissions. Listen, memory dims, and the past becomes a pentimental. Like a sin, a kind of snapshot, a photograph in my head, where my extended family are all smiling, and they're not even the ones who survived the flood. Outside, the trees flame after the bushfire in Australia. The air keeps its dense shape. Surely drought and bushfire have the same face. I can barely remember the scent of her hands. My sister, her infant voice, humming my name from my father's burning porch. It's taken a while for me to admit humanity ended a long time ago, but no one noticed. I looked out the window and saw her from behind. The koala, the way she flung the forelimbs, like she was desperate and being eaten by a visible predator. And did I tell you yet that my country is a menacing cocktail of high temperatures and gusty wind, and the silence of our house, hidden by shutters. I remember all the beautiful things suffocated by fumes. I remember thinking our policymakers were kind, but knowing they were men. I remember thinking our Prime Minister was sober, but knowing he only speaks of green, internal, economic growth. Sometimes I am in a raging battle with my country. I can't stop thinking the human significance of environmental policies. And then I remember their cherry bombs thrown into the crowd before it is divvied among the ghettos of time and air. This way, I mean to tell you, I'm tired of the circumstance of being here, waiting on the corner for a future mirage. 2015 Paris Agreement. Climate refugee is not poetic. Writing about climate refugee is not poetic. This soul world weighs heavy as my father's name, and sleepless worry folds a village of headers, the way fire ravages the white flowers. My little sister writes an oath. She hides beside her bed in the shop. It begins, Dear El Nino. Another word for climate refugee is worry Another word for worry is food ration. Another word for malnutrition is cholera. And sometimes my sister is both. Which is to say, sometimes a girl's body is a dope snack. And my blood burrows through my body until there's a border on her back. Child labor. It is April, and my brother spent a year drinking from test tubes. If the past is just a parable for the future, then staying alive should be easier. A delicacy, each day going rare. The symbolism, which isn't lost on a refugee like me. There is no balance here. Cattle as a species are already dying. This heat wave, mother of our cycling, the name we gave to the far side of the horizon, sealed with bruises. I'm running back and forth between the house of silence and the house of greed, shouting over and over with ink-stained fingers. Isn't it only sensible to pull the emergency brake? Shouldn't we abandon this dirty energy for now? Climate refugee is not poetic. It's the small brightness of my mother's shed. Her arms filled with goat milk, each dark step of the way home. And my father is singing to his 6-year-old daughter, thick with longing. The forecast on the radio claimed it will rain. It did not. For so long, I wanted to give the world my eyes.